What's up, family? Hey, I want to jump on here and I'll touch base with you guys. I'm out in North Carolina visiting my sister. Um, we're going to talk about coincidences. Coincidences. I haven't been in North Carolina since 1995. Stay with me, we're going to go somewhere. Coincidences are just synchronicities that coincide with the will of God. I'm going to say that again. Coincidences are synchronicities that coincide with the will of God. Prior to getting on the plane in LA, my son's lady friend made and gave me this amethyst crystal. Beautiful piece, powerful piece. And I love amethyst. I love purple, it's my favorite color. Amethyst is my birthstone, my mother's birthstone as well. Get on the plane. As soon as I land in North Carolina, I'm walking through the airport, and I travel a lot, quite a bit. Been to a lot of different airports. But in this particular airport, there was these huge amethyst geos, huge, beautiful. And when I saw them, I was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? I felt their energy. I had to go take pictures of them, you know what I mean? I felt their vibe, and it's like, man, I'm feeling this place, you know what I mean? Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. And so my sister comes pick me up. We're driving and just talking. And I'm reminiscing on the last time I had been here. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. In 1995, a young lady and I, and my two kids, my two older kids, drove out to Virginia and to visit her family. And then we drove into Raleigh, North Carolina to visit her grandmother. This elderly lady. And right off the bat, there was a connection. This elderly lady and I had never seen each other before. But there was a bond, there was a connection that I couldn't explain and couldn't understand at the time. And so we sat there and laughing and talking for a little bit. And we left. And we drove back to California. We were living in Los Angeles at the time. And the young lady and I eventually broke up. And one night, so on a Tuesday night, I had a dream. In this dream, I was with somebody else, and I was in a mall. And me and this lady, my new lady friend, and I were in the mall with my two kids. And we're walking, and I saw this young lady that I was with prior. But she looked messed up, just looked spun out, you know. She reminded me of Pookie from New Jack City. She looked like she was on a good one. And I saw her, and it just like gripped my heart. And I gave that lady that I was with, I gave her some change, and I said, hey, there's an Orange Julius, go get the kids something. I said, there's a lady I used to know. I'm gonna go see what's up with her. And she was like, okay, no big deal. So I ran and I called out to her. And I'm not gonna say her name, but I called her name. And she turned and she looked at me. Her lips were ashy and crusty, her face didn't look good. And when I was with her, very beautiful young lady, very beautiful young lady. It looked like she'd been on drugs and like she'd just been through it, right? And she turned and she looked at me and she just put her head down. And I walked up to her. And I asked her if I could give her a hug, and I gave her a hug. And she just started sobbing. And I was like, what's going on? What happened? And she told me that her grandmother, this lady that we met in North Carolina, had a triple bypass heart procedure and died. And that her mom had had a severe asthma attack and was been hospitalized, and they didn't know she was going to make it through. And I was like, wow, and the dream ended. That was Tuesday. Thursday night, this young lady called me and told me that she was flying out to North Carolina Friday morning because her grandmother was having this triple bypass procedure. And so I was like tripping because the dream I had. And so,
What's up, man?
and so I didn't tell her about the dream I had, and I just listened to her talk. I couldn't tell her that her grandmother was going to pass away, so I didn't say anything to her about it. And so, Friday I was at work. I was in the Air Force at the time. And I had my own office, and I was in my office since about 10 o'clock Friday morning in the summertime. And I got this cold chill that just went through my whole body, just like a shiver out of nowhere. And it occurred to me, it's like, man, I wonder if this lady passed away, I wonder if that was her way of letting me know that she was gone. And then thought went away. Got off work later on in the day, went home, and this young lady called me. I said, hey, what's up? I said, are you in North Carolina? She said, no, she didn't make it. I said, why? What happened? And she said, they told her not to come because her grandmother wasn't going to make it. And I was like, wow. And then she told me that her grandmother passed away. And I asked her, I said, man, I said, what time? This young lady cussed me out and went off on me and hung up on me. I asked her what time because I wanted to see if it coincided with the time that I got that shiver, the cold chills that went through my body. She called me back a few minutes later and apologized for cussing me out and all of that. And I explained to her. I told her my dream. And I told her that I got a chill throughout my entire body that just went through my whole body at 10 o'clock out of nowhere. And she was bawling because her grandmother passed away at 1 o'clock, which was 10 o'clock my time in California. Coincidence? No. I never understood that connection that her grandmother and I had. Coincidences are synchronicities that we don't understand that coincide with the will of God. God is always talking to us. We just don't listen. We don't know his voice because we don't spend enough time with him. Sometimes he could sound like a man, sometimes he could sound like a woman, he could sound like a kid. He could speak to you through a plant, through an animal, through a butterfly, through a dragonfly, through a ladybug, anything. But because we don't really spend enough time with God, and because we put God in a box and say he has to be this way and he has to do life this way according to what we think, we miss what he say. We miss the mark because it doesn't come across the way we expect, or we don't hear, we don't see what he's trying to tell us because we're not paying attention. my hope and prayer is that you slow down and you get God out of a box and stop expecting and demanding that things be a certain way. I'm not a religious person at all. I can't stand religion, any religion, because religion doesn't get you closer to God. It takes you further away from God. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.